My sister left my son out of her wedding, after he spent 8 months creating her gown. But she still expected to walk down the aisle in it. Our response? It left her absolutely speechless. Before we begin, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Tell me, what's one life lesson you think everyone should learn before it's too late? Drop your thoughts. Thanks. I'm Caroline, 42, and I've been raising my son, Lucas, on my own ever since my husband passed away in a train accident when Lucas was 9. What I never thought I'd face was protecting my 17-year-old from the very family who should have supported his gift. "Mom, I need to show you something," Lucas said one Wednesday evening, his voice carrying that hollow ache that always made my heart sink. I found him in his room, his personal haven. Design sketches lined the walls. Fabric samples hung like bright little flags. And in the corner sat his grandmother's vintage Bernina sewing machine, polished and proud. That machine had been his anchor since age 13, when grief over losing his father pushed him toward creating beauty with his own hands. It became his therapist, his teacher, his best friend. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" I asked gently. He held up his phone, not meeting my eyes. His shoulders sagged. "Mom, I never got an invitation to Aunt Sophia's wedding. I'm devastated. I made her entire dress, and she doesn't even want me there." My chest tightened instantly. For years earlier, when Lucas first found that sewing machine in our attic, I never imagined it would save him. Back then, he was so quiet, so weighed down by grief. But sewing gave him purpose, it gave him hope. By 14, Lucas was already sketching his own patterns. By 16, he was taking commissions from neighbors all across Phoenix. And by 17, his work was so breathtaking that my sister Sophia practically begged him to create her wedding dress when she got engaged 10 months ago. I'll never forget that day. 9 months earlier, Sophia came twirling into our kitchen in Mesa, her engagement ring catching the Arizona sunshine through the window. "Lucas, sweetheart, I have the most exciting request," she said, sliding into the chair across from him. "You know how incredibly gifted you are with design and sewing. Would you consider making my wedding gown?" Lucas looked up from his algebra homework, wide-eyed. "You really want me to make your wedding dress?" "Of course. Think about how meaningful that would be, wearing something created by my unbelievably talented nephew. It would mean the world to me. And naturally, you'll have the best seat in the house. Front row, right next to Grandma Margaret." I watched Lucas's whole face light up, that shy smile spreading like sunrise. "If you really trust me with something that important." "I absolutely do, Lucas. This is going to be perfect. Just perfect." At the time, I thought it was a beautiful moment. But staring at his broken expression months later, I realized just how wrong I was. "I'll cover all the materials," I offered that day, watching the excitement in Lucas's eyes. "Consider it my contribution to your big day, Sophia." She hugged us both, tears in her eyes. "You two are the best family anyone could ask for." What followed were months of Lucas pouring every ounce of himself into that gown. 57 different sketches covered our dining room table. Stacks of fabric swatches from Phoenix's best boutiques filled every corner. And late nights when I'd find him hunched over his machine at 2 a.m., determined to perfect every detail. This wasn't just a project, it was his masterpiece. Lucas studied old techniques, watched designers online, even visited the Phoenix Art Museum to look at vintage gowns for inspiration. But Sophia's feedback only grew harsher. "These sleeves look wrong. Can you make them tighter? I hate this neckline, it makes me look big. Why does this lace look so cheap? Can't you use something more expensive? This skirt is too puffy. Elegant, not some princess costume." Each comment felt like a dagger to Lucas's confidence, but he kept going. He'd come home from long days at Desert Ridge High School, exhausted. "She changes her mind constantly, Mom. I've redone the bodice 6 times already. Wedding planning is stressful, honey, I'd say. She's probably just nervous. But Mom, she's being cruel. Yesterday she said my work looked amateur." Looking back, I should have stepped in right there. I should have protected him. Instead, I kept making excuses, telling myself that family loyalty meant something. But to Sophia, it didn't. While other juniors were going to football games and school dances, Lucas spent his weekends in fabric stores downtown, searching for the perfect materials. He used money from his part-time job at Target to buy specialty threads and beading. He sewed over 200 tiny pearls onto the bodice by hand. The lace sleeves were delicate as spiderwebs. The train flowed like liquid silk. Every inch whispered love, patience, and extraordinary skill. At the final fitting 3 weeks ago, Sophia slipped into Lucas's gown. Our mother gasped. "Oh my goodness, Lucas. This is museum quality. Absolutely breathtaking." Even Sophia seemed moved for once. "It's beautiful, Lucas. Truly beautiful." For a moment, I thought we had finally turned a corner. I thought she understood the gift he had given her. I was so wrong. But then, just days later, everything fell apart. "Mom," Lucas whispered one afternoon, holding up his phone. His face was pale, his voice cracked. "I never got an invitation to Aunt Sophia's wedding." My stomach dropped. "There has to be some mistake," I said, immediately texting Sophia. "Hey, Lucas says he didn't receive a wedding invite. Did it get lost in the mail?" Her reply came in minutes. "Oh right. We decided on adults only. No kids. He'll understand." "Adults only?" "He's 17. And he made your dress." "No exceptions," she snapped back. "The venue has strict rules." I called her instantly, my voice trembling. "Sophia, how could you do this? Lucas spent 8 months of his life making your gown. 8 months of staying up late, pricking his fingers until they bled, redoing everything because you kept changing your mind." "I appreciate what he did," she said flatly, "but this is my wedding. I want it sophisticated and elegant. You know how teens can be at formal events. This teenager created a work of art for you. He sacrificed his entire junior year. Look, I'll make it up to him. Maybe lunch after the honeymoon." "Lunch?" I nearly exploded. "You think lunch makes up for breaking the one promise that kept him motivated through months of your demands? Some promises just don't work out," she said sweetly. "Not my fault if you can't handle reality. I'm busy. Talk later." Click. That night, I found Lucas folding the gown into tissue paper with surgical precision. "What are you doing, honey?" "Packing it up. Figured I'd send it to Aunt Sophia anyway. Like she wanted originally." "Lucas, look at me." He turned, and for a moment, I saw that same little boy who once asked me why his dad couldn't come to his science fair. His eyes held the same bewildered hurt. "She doesn't deserve your work," I said softly. "Mom, maybe I was just stupid to think she really wanted me there." "You weren't stupid. You trusted family. That's different." And right then, I knew what I had to do. I typed the message slowly, read it 3 times, and hit send. "Sophia, since Lucas isn't welcome at your wedding, you won't be wearing his dress either." Within seconds, my phone rang. "Caroline, have you lost your mind?" "No, Sophia. I'm finally thinking clearly. If my son isn't good enough for a seat at your wedding, then his gown isn't either. My wedding is in 4 days. What am I supposed to wear? That's your problem. You should have thought of that before you disrespected him. It was a gift, you can't take back a gift. Real gifts come with love and respect. You've given him nothing but cruelty." Her voice turned sharp. "You're insane. He's just a kid. He's your nephew. And he literally bled for that dress. Did you even notice the faint red stains inside the seam? That's from the nights he worked until his fingers gave out." Silence. Not the kind where someone listens, the kind where they have no defense left. "Sophia. Still there." Finally she hissed, "Fine. How much do you want for it? We're selling it to someone who will value it. You can't sell my wedding gown. It's not yours anymore unless you're ready to pay $900. That's what custom gowns cost in Phoenix. $900, for something made by a kid. No. For something made by a gifted young man who trusted you with his heart." And I hung up. That same night, I listed the gown on Facebook Marketplace. Stunning custom wedding gown. Size 8. Handcrafted by talented young designer. Museum quality detail $900 firm. Within 2 hours, 18 people reached out. By evening, a bride named Hannah drove from Tucson to see it. "This is extraordinary," she gasped, running her hands over the beadwork. "You made this yourself?" Lucas nodded shyly, cheeks flushing. "I've never seen detail like this. My dress was ruined in shipping. I'm getting married next week. This feels like fate." She didn't hesitate. "Paid cash on the spot. This is going to make my dreams come true." As she carefully loaded it into her car, Lucas whispered, "She really loved it, didn't she, Mom? She saw it for what it is, sweetheart, a masterpiece." The next morning, Sophia called in a panic. "Caroline, I can make room for Lucas at the wedding, okay? I need that gown back." "Too late." "What do you mean, too late?" "It's gone." Sold to a bride who cried actual tears when she saw his work. Someone who valued him more than you ever did. "But it was mine. I commissioned it." "It's gone, Sophia. Just like your relationship with Lucas, unless you change your attitude." The scream she let out rattled my phone speaker. On the day of her wedding, Lucas and I were at Ipin Temp, eating chocolate chip pancakes. "You know what, Mom," he said, grinning. "I think Aunt Sophia did me a favor." "How so?" I asked. If she'd kept her promise and let me come, I might never have realized my work has value. That I don't have to accept being treated badly just because someone's family. My heart nearly burst with pride. A few days later, Hannah sent photos from her wedding at the Desert Botanical Garden. She looked radiant in Lucas's gown, glowing beside her husband. Her message read, "Lucas, thank you for the most beautiful gown I've ever worn. You have an incredible gift, never let anyone make you doubt it. I've already recommended you to 4 of my friends." Lucas beamed. "She wants me to design her sister's gown next spring." I smiled. "You deserve every bit of recognition, honey." "And Mom, I'm actually grateful this happened." "Why's that?" "Because now I know my work matters. My feelings matter. And I know my mom will always fight for me." Months passed. The fallout from Sophia's wedding was immediate. Family called, furious. "Caroline, you ruined your sister's wedding." "She had to buy a backup gown from David's bridal," my mother scolded. "Good," I said calmly. "Maybe now people will talk about how she treated Lucas first." "She's your sister, family comes first." "No. Respect comes first. My son deserved better." But the most surprising call came from my cousin Jessica, who'd actually been at the wedding. "Caroline, I have to tell you what happened at the reception," she whispered. Sophia complained non-stop about her cheap backup dress. But when guests found out the story behind Lucas's gown, almost everyone sided with him. Even Grandma Margaret was furious at Sophia. I smiled through tears. "Thank you, Jess. That means everything." 3 months later, Lucas's little design business was thriving. Brides across Arizona were seeking him out not just for his talent, but for his story. "Mom," he shouted one afternoon, bursting through the door. "You won't believe this, AZ Bridal magazine wants to feature me as a rising star designer." My heart swelled. "That's incredible, sweetheart. And they want to interview me about overcoming family challenges to follow your passion. If my story can help other kids stand up for themselves, then it was worth it." That evening, Lucas handed me a lavender scarf he had designed himself, delicate silver threading shimmering in the light. "What's this for?" I asked. "For being the kind of mom who fights for her son. For teaching me I deserve respect even from family." Tears filled my eyes. "You never had to thank me for that." "I know. But I want to. Because of you, I learned that blood doesn't automatically mean respect. Behavior does." 6 months later, Lucas had a waiting list of brides and even a scholarship offer from the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. Meanwhile, Sophia texted me once, weeks after her wedding. "I hope you're happy. You ruined my day over a stupid dress." I showed Lucas. He just shrugged. "She still doesn't get it. It was never about a dress. It was about respect." And he was right. Sophia may have had her wedding day, but Lucas walked away with something far more important: self-worth, respect, and the knowledge that he never has to accept being treated as disposable again. Sometimes the hardest moments teach the most valuable lessons. And sometimes, standing up for what's right means walking away from what's familiar. That's a lesson worth remembering. And that is how everything unfolded. If you've stayed with me through this story, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it, I'd love for you to tap the like button. It really helps more than you know. And if you'd like to hear more stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe, and maybe even turn on the little bell, so you'll always know when a new one is ready. Until then, I'll see you in the next story.